Y'all, who does not like to be a part of a winning team? Lottie Dottie, everybody loves being a part of a winning team. So what if you made acknowledging and recognizing wins part of the DNA and culture of your organization? And what impact or effect would that have? Rather than always talking about, hey, look at all our failures. We suck. We're losers. We suck. We have so much more to go. Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters. So this episode is going to be on celebrating wins. I am grateful for kids. I'm grateful for kids of friends that I love being around and spending time with. There's a family that I'm thinking of in particular that has these three adorable kids, and they are just awesome. They're each very, very unique, very, very different personalities. And I love their personalities, their expressions, their interests, their smiles, their little quirks. It's been so fun getting to know these kids. And the youngest, a little girl, she's probably 8. She's given me, I've got a squishy stress helicopter that she gave me. I've got 2 versions of a fidget spinner kind of thing, but they're not fidget spinners. They're these things you can mess with your hands. So actually, I'll just show you for those of you on YouTube. Boom, stress helicopter that she gave me. Here's a stress. So I'm thankful for these little stress things. And then this deal that you can spin, and then one of the boys, the younger boy, gave me his Lego race car. So, and then the daughter gave me, how cool is this? Those y'all on YouTube, it says, "You are the best, Noble," and it's got these little cute hearts on it, and on the back it says, "I love you, Noble." So, is that cool? So I'm grateful for kids and just their love of life and love of people. Okay, celebrating wins. So how can you impact culture? And some people, some leaders reflect on or emphasize losses and what has not been accomplished, which is a technique. That's a method. That's maybe a leadership style, leadership approach. Always talking about the negative. You haven't done this. You haven't done this. You haven't done this. You still got to do this. You still got to do this. Well, it's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. You accomplish this, but it doesn't matter because you still got to do A, B, C, D, right? Again, a lot of leaders roll like that, which maybe is great, right? The whip. Some leaders like to use the whip and don't like carrots. Again, matter of preference. I would argue really depends on the team, really depends on EQ of the team and the leader. And I would also argue, well, yeah, there's a whole other organization, big, giant organization that I am geographically close to that uses lots of whips and sticks and has created a very, very toxic organization, huge organization that gets results, that gets lots of results. Very toxic approach, and burns through leaders probably every 3 to 5 to 10 years because of how toxic the culture is. And very similar to the Army. Back when I was growing up in the Army, back in my days, they would absolutely crush your high performers, high achievers. They would just wear them out. Who gets the most work? The A players, the high achievers, high performers, which in the long run burns them out. They crash and burn. And anyway, so how can you change that environment? An idea or an example is, what if you did the opposite? What if you started to celebrate wins? What if you started to celebrate wins at scale? So some of you know, if you heard some of my recent episodes, I transitioned from Arrowhead Leadership Consulting, which definitely, if you need a leadership team or leadership organization to help you out, highly recommend Arrowhead Leadership with the CEO, Eric Lopez. You can find him on LinkedIn. I recently transitioned a month ago to one of my clients, offered me a full-time role. And due to I had gone overseas for a little while, a few months. And so I was going to have to kind of start over basically with some of my business stuff that I had developed with Arrowhead. And when one of my clients offered me a full-time role, I took it, I accepted the offer. And of course I let all the Arrowhead team know, and they were, I obviously am very close with Eric. And so with this company, I am the chief people officer of this company. And one of the ways that we are going to start building on and improving and honing and refining the culture that they've already really done an excellent job at improving, that'll be another conversation, is by celebrating wins at scale. Organizational wins, organizational wins, department wins, team wins, and individual wins. And we are going to create win walls around the organization so that it's a visual trigger and reminder of what has been accomplished. Not what we're going to accomplish, not what we didn't accomplish, not how far we have to go. What did we accomplish? The receipts. It's going to be a receipts wall, which is the term that the kids use nowadays, right? So it's going to be a wall of receipts. This is what we have done individually, as a team, as a department, as an organization. And the impact that I expect that to have is to elevate and excite and empower and equip people to get more wins and ultimately to develop individual, team, department, and organizational momentum. And y'all, who does not like to be a part of a winning team? Lottie-dottie, everybody loves being a part of a winning team. So what if you made acknowledging and recognizing wins part of the DNA and culture of your organization? And what impact or effect would that have? Rather than always talking about, hey, look at all our failures. We suck. We're losers. We suck. We have so much more to go. I wonder what would happen if and I'll tell you over the course of this next year, the impact that this has. So we're probably the next week or so, we will have this started within the organization. And I think it's going to have a huge impact in the organization. So now you've got, plus the other dynamic is you will be able to have good finders or win finders. So if I see a buddy of mine do a win, I'm like, bro, put your win up on the board. Put your win up on the wall, bro. That's a huge, huge win. They closed a deal. They got a certain number of sales calls that they were trying to shoot for, and they did it. They got a certain amount of production through the production line, or they created some new efficiencies. They found some inefficiencies. Whatever the win was, put it up. Hey, Susie, put your win up. That was a huge win. Great job. Put your win up on the wall. Or maybe it's they ran a 5K over the weekend and they had never run a 5K before, or they overcame some personal adversity. And you don't have to go into detail, obviously, on the win wall, but whatever you're comfortable with putting on the wall, I think it's going to be a powerful tool. And I think I'm excited to see the impact. I'm excited to see the impact on the culture, on the vibe, on the behavior, and on the results ultimately of the individual, the team, the department, and the organization as a whole. So super excited about that. And also, yeah, just increasing also people's self-awareness and social awareness to be looking out for not only their individual wins, but also the team wins as well. So win wall, what would be the impact of you putting a win wall within your organization or team, or maybe even at home with your family, your kids, creating a win wall on the fridge or a win wall in the kitchen or in the living room? And what impact could that have in your family? There's a story in First Kings, man, 15 or 16. I'm sorry, First Samuel. I said First Kings, First Samuel, 15, 16, or 17. David and Goliath. When David showed up to give his brothers MREs when they were on the battle line, when Goliath was talking trash, and David went to King Saul, because King Saul was like, I think it was King Saul, right? Saul, yeah, King Saul. Said, hey, who's this teenager punk kid that's talking trash about and wants to beat up this Goliath? Bring him to me. So Ranger David goes to the king's tent and says, hey, I'm your guy. And Saul laughed at him, like, come on, you're a punk kid. What are you still use proactive? Right? You still got zits, bro. You don't even have your chariot driver's license yet. And what did David say? He responded with his wins. He didn't say, oh man, I failed here, here, here. He said, me and God, we killed the lion and the bear with my bare hands and God's help. Goliath will be just like those two guys, those two jokers. I smoked a lion and I smoked a bear, and I've got lion venison and I got bear venison in my fridge back at the crib. Goliath is going to be no different. So he told the king his wins. So anyway, and then what impact would that have on you if you were more intentional at celebrating your own wins? What impact would that have on you emotionally? What impact would that have on your confidence? What impact would that have on your behavior, on your performance? Pay attention. And if you try it out, let me know. I'd love to hear. Your emotional health and fitness is worth the discomfort of doing emotional PT, emotional physical training, emotional exercises. Your emotional health and fitness is worth the discomfort to become the best version of who God's called you to be.